Richmond TV presents This Week in Richmond.
Hello and welcome to This Week in Richmond for February 28th through March 14th. Our special guest today is the City of Richmond Assessor, Mitchell Elrod, to talk about the department and the Board of Review. First up, let's see what's going on at the Odd. Adult Open Gym Basketball is on the second and fourth Friday of the month, going from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Cost to enter is $4. Drop-in pickleball games will be happening in the mornings from 9 a.m. to noon on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Evening games are on Thursdays from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Cost to enter is $1. Teen Open Gym Basketball is every Sunday starting at 4:30 p.m. and going to 6:30 p.m. Cost to enter is $3. Drop-in volleyball for adults will be going on every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Teen Open Volleyball is on every Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Cost to enter for adults is $4, or you can purchase a punch card good for 15 visits and is $45. Cost for teens to enter is $3. Macomb Family Services will be at the Odd on Thursdays starting at 3 p.m. for 4th through 8th graders. They have different activities scheduled for the afternoon, with 3 p.m. to 3:45 p.m. will be for open gym. 3:45 to 4:15 will be snack and homework help, and open gym again from 4:15 to 5 p.m. They will have a movie running in the diner for those interested in just decompressing. It will be required for each child to have a completed emergency form on file. Now for what's going on at the Lois Wagner Memorial Library. Senior exercise will be happening on every Monday and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. This program goes at your own pace and is guided by an instructor just to help with movement. Hooks and Needles will be happening at the library community room on March 11th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Bring a project or start a new one and enjoy spending time in the community while working on your project. The library will be hosting the evening puzzle competition on March 14th. Check-in starts at 6 p.m. Competition starts at 6:15 p.m. Teams of 2 to 4 contestants will put together a 700-piece puzzle alongside rival teams. No puzzle accessories, please. Just you, your team, and the puzzle. Please pre-register for each competition by calling the library at 586-727-2665. Cost to enter is $5 per team. Now it's time for the city meeting schedule. City Council will be meeting at City Hall on Monday, March 3rd at 7 p.m. Recreation Board meeting will be on Tuesday, March 4th at 7 p.m. at City Hall. Library Board meeting will be on Monday, March 10th at 5:30 p.m. in the library meeting room. Cable Commission will be meeting in the community room at City Hall at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, March 11th. Planning Commission will be meeting at Richmond City Hall on Thursday, March 13th at 7 p.m. Board Review will be meeting on Tuesday, March 11th from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Thursday, March 13th at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the City Council chambers of City Hall. Now for On Your Radar. The Richmond Area Historical and Genealogical Society will be holding their Historic Tea event on March 29th from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at Solitude Links. These are advanced tickets sales only with a cost of $45 per person. The main presentation will be Women of Lighthouses in Michigan, along with a silent auction. To purchase tickets online, go to richmondhistoricalsociety.org. Tickets go fast, so make sure you pick them up before they sell out. We will be right back to talk with Mitchell Elrod from the City Assessing Department. Stay tuned. Welcome back to This Week in Richmond. Now I'm joined with Mitchell Elrod from our City Assessor. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So what is the job of the assessing department?
Our main duties would be record keeping for all the property, real property being property with improvements on it, personal property being the assets inside businesses. So we do a lot of record keeping of that. We do all the name and address changes, new construction, we do all the lot splits, all the exemptions for the city, and then we coordinate with our board of review 3 meetings throughout the year.
Okay. So how do you calculate property values?
Property value is done mainly on a 2-year sales study. So what I do is I look at sales over a 2-year period that are set deadlines from the State Tax Commission, and use that sales data to determine if the property value for this certain area of the city, certain class of property is going to increase or decrease. For new construction, we take a look at the building plans, how big is the house that they're going to be building, what are all the aspects of the property. We go out and field measure it, sketch it onto a program, input it into our system, which has cost manuals from the state that we are mandated to use. That comes up with the value. I take a look at the sales, make sure it's in line, and then we set that assessment.
Okay. When we're talking about tax rates, it's usually referred to a number and mills. What is mills?
Mills is just short for millage rate. So that would be the tax rate for that specific entity. Myself and the treasurer, we coordinate with the different taxing authorities throughout the county. I calculate the city's millage rates every year, and then we get all of the different taxing millage rates from the entities to prepare for the tax bills every year.
Okay. What is the difference between taxable value and cash value when appraising properties?
So every property in the state of Michigan has 2 values. Your state equalized value is 50% of the true cash value or the market value of the property. So that is what the city is saying your property is worth, your true cash value. Divide that number by 2, that's your state equalized value. The taxable value is a separate value. That's what your taxes are based off of. That's actually a formula that comes into play. So with the year after you buy a house, they're going to be the same. They're going to be the same value, your taxable and assessed. But the longer you live in a property or you own a property, the assessed value, your SEV will generally outpace that because it's following the market. But the taxable value and its formula is capped by state law, meaning there's a maximum 5% increase to it every year, or the state inflation rate, whichever is lower. So for example, it's 3.1% this year, it's not going to hit the 5%. So that keeps large increases to your taxes every year by having that cap. Now, if you add an addition onto your house or something that's going to be adding new value, it's going to be the yearly inflation rate plus whatever you're adding.
Okay. So that's what they mean when you purchase a home and it becomes uncapped.
Correct.
You can find the city can now tax the full value of that property as long as rate of inflation throughout
Correct.
time.
Yep. So when I enter that sale into my system, it removes that cap off the taxable value for the following year, and it becomes equal to whatever that property is currently assessed at.
Okay, so that's why you might see property taxes for some homes higher than the others.
Correct.
Your neighbor just sold, then the new people moving in
Absolutely.
would have that higher tax rate, but you would still be living in your home for 30 years.
Correct. They might be assessed similarly, but due to the state laws that we have and how we assess and calculate these things, you could be paying more, a lot more than your neighbor that's lived there for 10, 15 years.
Right. So do you have to cover every property in the city every year?
So we definitely do not cover every property in the city every year. Our goal is to at least verify 20%. That's our goal, is to make sure that the record is accurate for at least 20% of the property. We get a lot of that done doing field visits for like permit work. So if we're out at your house doing something, we'll make sure that the record looks good for your house. We have not done in the past, but you can do, cities can do like canvassing programs. So we'll select a certain portion of the city, go out and just make sure that the record looks good. Is that deck still there? Did you guys remove the pool? So on and so forth.
Okay. If residents want any property records, how can they attain them?
Most of our records are electronic now, so they're very easy to email. So you could always call or email my department. We can send you anything that's in the old record card we'd have to go out and get, but it's no big deal. Mostly everything can be sent electronically, or you can pick it up, or we can mail it to you.
Okay. what tax exemptions might be available to residents?
I would say the main one is the principal residence exemption. So that's what you're going to file when you own and occupy your property as your primary residence. That's going to exempt you from a school operating millage that goes directly to the state. It's a pretty significant millage, and you get about a 20% tax savings when you file that. The other two that are offered is a disabled veteran exemption. So you have to be deemed eligible per the VA to get that.
Right.
And then the other one would be a poverty exemption, which takes into account income and assets for the whole household.
Okay. What is the job of the Board of Review?
So the Board of Review meets 3 times of the year. Their March meeting is for valuation appeals. So like right now, we sent out the assessment notices. Everybody has their 2025 values. If they disagree with that, that's when they call City Hall to schedule an appointment with the Board of Review to discuss with them why they think their property is overassessed. And what they do is the Board of Review is kind of like an independent third party. You know, they're not city employees.
Right.
They're appointed by City Council. But what they do is they review the taxpayers' concerns, whatever information they supply to them. They look and see what we have on record, and then they make an independent decision if they're going to either lower the assessment, keep it the same, or possibly even raise it.
Okay.
At their July meetings, at July and December meetings, they're essentially doing the same thing. They're signing off on any clerical errors on the assessment roll. They're doing applying poverty exemptions or denying poverty exemptions. But those are like the main differences between those meetings.
So you said you have to make an appointment in order to see the Board of Review.
Preferably, yes, we can accept walk-ins. We like to have all your information prepared ahead of time so that the board, is not caught off guard or anything like that. You can certainly walk in. You can do a letter appeal as long as it's in at a reasonable time before that last day of appointments. But you physically don't have to appear before the Board of Review, but I would say majority of people like to appear before the Board of Review in March.
So what would you say would be some things that that people should appeal?
Obviously, the main argument is they purchased their property for less than what I have them assessed for. So that would be like probably the number one argument. If it's a new build, they obviously don't agree with the value of the property. So I'll just tell them, if you have a recent appraisal done, let's take a look at your record card, make sure we have all the, everything right on the house. And for March, that's mainly the two things. The home is overassessed in their opinion. They come in to appeal, discuss. I'm sitting in on the meetings too if the board has any questions for me. If it's something that we can just fix, like, hey, I don't have a second garage in my backyard, I don't know how that got on there, we'll go out and take a look and we'll remove it, and it usually solves that issue. But if it's a valuation appeal, they'll come in, they'll talk to the board asks me any questions, they make their independent decision, and we go on from there.
All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
My office is always open to meet with the public. I'm here Tuesdays and Fridays right now. Any questions anybody has, I always tell them I'm an open door. Please call and ask.
And your email is always open.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the best and fastest way to get a hold of me when I'm not here.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you.
You can view us on our YouTube channel. Just search Richmond TV in the search bar, and it'll be one of the first options that'll come up, and you hit subscribe. And if you also want to hit that bell to make sure you're notified of any future Richmond TV programs that are coming up. You can also view us on Channel 6 within the Richmond area. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day.